Hi, this is Brian Kaplicki and Chad Barris. I'm with the McGovern Kaplicki team. I believe I'm live. I'm not sure if I am or not, but I guess we'll figure that out. Sometimes I'm
Yeah, we kind of did a
so actually we're here. Brian Kaplicki and Chad Barris. I'm with the McGovern Kaplicki team. This is our first time live, so I don't know if I already did it backwards or forwards. So we'll figure it out, Chad. Right?
yeah. Somebody hit us up in a message along the way if we're messing something up here.
Well, I'm sure I'll mess it up somehow. Um, I just want we touched base a couple of weeks ago about whether or not we should buy now or not. One thing you should do, and I'm going to just a plug right now, is you should go vote today. I did. I think it's today's election day, and everybody should go vote. So that's my patriotic duty right now.
Yes, and I ran out this morning, got it in there, and made a difference, right? So
Yeah,
every
that's all.
vote counts.
Well, now I can yell about it. Anyway, that's enough about politics. But we were talking about whether or not you should buy today or should wait, and we were going back and forth last time about rates, and I just wanted to continue that conversation a little bit. I was looking at some stats today, and we were looking. The market has turned a little bit. I mean, from a high month over month, in Orange County, we were at 412,000 as a average sales price, and now that was in July, and now in October we're at 385. And days on market has gone up a little bit from 35 days on market to 48 in October. So what's the argument? Should I be waiting for values to fall, or what do I do right now? What's your thoughts?
So that's huge, right? So like everybody wants to know, like to have this crystal ball, right? So every agent is now an expert, every mortgage person is an expert. But let's just use some common sense here, right? And to the audience, nobody could get an offer accepted with an FHA 3% down, 5% down, or even 10% down, right? So now all these buyers looking to do something, this is an opportunity because as you gave real stats, the houses are staying on the market longer, which gives another pool of buyers an opportunity where we didn't have before. So regardless of what the rates are, no house with a low rate versus a house with a higher rate, you can always change the rate and the payment, right? You can't change the price, which
Correct.
which was mind blowing. Where people would just say, "Well, I'll give you 10,000 over. I'll give you 30,000. I'll give you 100,000 more." It totally decimated a whole certain pool of buyers, and now there's an opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, and if you think about what more days on market, there should be more inventory coming out and sitting a little bit longer. You don't have to. I mean, you still have to be a good house is going to sell quickly, but you still have more opportunity to put that offer in, and probably less people you're competing against too, right?
1,000%. And what I say to the real estate community, right, to keep the value strong, and like we always talk about these buy downs that could help out consumers with a lower interest rate for the first year, and then it escalates another point until you're fully amortized levels. So there's tremendous amount of opportunity regardless of what the rates are, just according to your statistics, right? So let's go back to what you were saying. All right, so let's just touch back. How long is the average house sitting on the market now?
Average days on market was in October was 48, up from 35 in July.
All right, so rewind, I don't know, a couple months beforehand. How long were houses on the market? 2 weeks, a day,
Yeah.
half a day?
Yeah, if you're lucky.
Yeah, if you're lucky. So,
drag it out.
The numbers don't lie. The stats are there. So like you're
So I guess the other point too, though, is it better to wait for values to decrease but rates are still increasing right now. So am I better off getting a lower rate? I mean, because I believe that affordability, as rates go up, affordability goes down dramatically.
correct. And like a rule of thumb is for every 1% difference on interest rate decreases a buyer's purchasing power by 5%.
Wow.
Right. So it's kind of like a rule of thumb.
Yeah.
But again, there's certain things in life like we have control over, and certain things we don't. We don't have control over the interest rates. We do have control whether we're going to make a decision for life expectancy or or marriage or divorce, or everybody's got a reason why they need to do something. Like if we're real estate investors, and every number and every nook and cranny is important, yes, that's a different audience. But the general consensus, again, if you have a family, if you're having a new baby, you need a bigger place, we can't control the rates. Well, you can't control what you're going to do. You can always change the rates if in fact they do come down.
Mhm. And you can, and like you said, you were talking about a 2-1 buy down before, and that's something that you can buy down your rate for a period of time, so it's more affordable, and then it will go back to a regular rate. Is that what my understanding is?
Correct. So for argument's sake, I'll just use a 7% number, right? So if a 30-year fix is at 7%, okay, for the first year, that borrower is going to get 5%.
Yep.
Okay. Let's say it's a $400 a month differentiation.
Mhm.
Okay. Then for the second year, they're going to go up to 6%. Right. So now it goes not as much savings, but it's still big savings. Okay. So now they're going to save about $200 for the next 24 months.
Mhm.
Right. So then, therefore, for the 27-year to the end of the loan, they would be at the 7% mark. But basically, what are we doing here? This isn't like a long-term play. This is just to grease the wheels while we're waiting for the interest rates to come down.
Sure.
All right. So now keep in mind, right? This is a very important topic, which a lot of agents don't know how to position this. You do, because you're an expert and been doing this longer than I have. But we're using this as a seller concession tool. Okay. Right. So it's built into the purchase price. So instead of price improvement, instead of price decrease, instead of price reduction, we leave that number at, let's use that 500,000. Now we're going to go in at 490. We're still going to keep that price at 500, but that $10,000 window was money that allowed the buyer to buy down their rates and their payment.
Correct. So then you get a more affordable rate and get into it.
Correct. So I just wanted to shift gears, right? Because we were talking about this a little bit prior. I just want to try and share my screen here. All right. And show, can you see the screen? What little it is? Okay. So to the audience, what's that?
I still see you.
Okay. Hold on.
There's the screen.
Okay.
Cost of waiting.
All right. So a lot of people said, let me just wait. Let's see what the market's going to do, right? So this is just a quick illustration. I'm not going to spend too much time on it, but for the audience, if you want something like this custom built, hit us up in the chat below. But this just shows in Orange County on a $450,000 purchase price. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
This basically shows if you waited 6 months and market went up 1.86%. If you waited a year, 5%, and so on and so forth. Now, this kind of like is a little bit contradictory to what you had said because the market's coming down.
Mm-hmm.
But here's the key factor. Real estate in general has appreciated at least 4% a year. The only problem is we took 5 years worth of appreciation and squashed it into 24 months, right? So if we come down, right, to where maybe it could have been, it's still going to continue to go up. So let's take this whole big bubble or whatever you want to call it out of the equation, just normalcy if somebody waited, over the next 5 years. The bottom line is, as property appreciates, okay, you're losing money, as you can see the illustration here, as interest rates could creep up with the purchase price of the home, all right? Hence a higher mortgage payment, okay? I'm just gonna touch on this real quick and then we'll shift gears again. This just shows on the bottom line here, if you're waiting for a more expensive house, right? You waited a year, it's going to cost you $267 a month. You're waiting this $511, so on and so forth. If you waited 3 years to see what the market's going to do, your payment difference, because the price of the house will eventually continue to go up at that 5% rate, 3% rate, you're still going to be losing money. So again, we always go with date the rate, marry the house, and divorce the rent, right? This big cliche that everybody talks about, right? But that doesn't say anything because there's no demonstration. What does that really mean? The numbers are the numbers. 100% of rent is 100% of rent. So if you waited 5 years to buy something, you have $80,000 in rent paid to the landlord versus yourself, no matter which way you slice and dice it. So let me get back to screen here.
Yeah, rent is 100% interest.
Yep, with no write-off.
Yeah, exactly. So
So, between the first month, the security deposit, paying the agent, or however, which way the rent works out, you're still giving the money away.
yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you for your time. Anything else you want to bring up?
I guess to the listing audience, right? So, again, and even on my curiosity, when you're going on listing appointments and a lot of people, should I list now? Is this a good time? Right? I have such a great interest rate. Why would I want to move? What would you say to the audience with respect to that?
Well, I think right now we're at
That's the other side.
yeah, we're at the top of the downturn. I mean, realistically, if you're on top of the mountain and you want to get the most value out of your house, now's the time. You know, real estate goes it goes up and down every 7 to 10 years. We're good. Things are changing, and if you're looking to sell, right now is the if you're looking to sell and you want the most money, now's your time.
So if you're going to
selling at
capitalize,
yeah,
you're going to capitalize now. It's either now or never.
yeah, and the rates, and again, the amount of value you're going to lose. If you lose 10% on a $500,000 house, you lost $50,000.
Mhm.
How much time is it going to take to get back up there? So it's a great time to sell too. I think it's a great time to buy just because I believe rates are going to continue to rise through next year too. So
Yeah, that's what they're saying. I mean, you and I have been in this business long enough. I mean, what are you, 20, 22 years, Brian?
couple days.
So, I have tremendous respect for you because you're one of the best in the business. And, I'm honored to be on this with you and connected with you. And,
Well, if you need any help for either on the mortgage side, on the listing side, or the selling and buying side, we're here for people. So, and if you just have questions, even if you're not working with us, we're here to help anybody that's out there, right?
that's what it's about. I was actually going to get a T-shirt that said, I'm a mortgage broker. They asked me a question, just wear it everywhere. Because you know what? And to the audience, it doesn't have to be to talk to us. Like we're actually going to do a mortgage or, just talk to us. Let us educate you because everybody's got questions.
Let us be the resource for anything real estate, mortgage needs. So you can PM us, DM us, whatever it is, and we'll put that in the chat below.
And one last thing, if anybody's got questions, and I love doing this with you, Brian. If anybody's got questions and the audience has questions, make a comment below. What do you want to know about? What can we answer for you? To keep these live feeds, enjoyable, and you want to tune in, and we're kind of answering questions that everybody might have.
Absolutely. Love to know what you guys want to talk about.
All right. So on that note, I hope you have a great day, Brian.
Have a great day.
All right. Bye, everybody.